A conceptual framework in research is like a roadmap that visually or logically explains the relationship between the variables of a study, guiding the researcher in understanding how concepts connect to form the foundation of the research problem. It is built on theories, assumptions, and previous studies that influence the research design and provide clarity on how the independent and dependent variables interact. When creating a conceptual framework, researchers first identify the main variables of their study from the research objectives, categorize them as independent, dependent, mediating, or moderating, and then determine their theoretical or logical relationships. For example, in a study on employee motivation and productivity, independent variables might include salary, recognition, and work environment, while the dependent variable would be productivity. The conceptual framework then visually shows how these factors influence the outcome. To create one, researchers review existing literature to find relevant theories and models, then integrate them into their research context. It is essential to base the framework on credible scholarly sources, as it ensures theoretical validity. In qualitative research, the conceptual framework may be less rigid and evolve during the study, while in quantitative research, it is usually established before data collection. Many students confuse conceptual frameworks with theoretical frameworks, but the former is specific to the research variables and how they interact in the study context, while the latter is broader and based on established theories. A good conceptual framework is usually represented through diagrams such as flowcharts, models, or box and arrow charts that clearly indicate the hypothesized direction of relationships, positive or negative. For example, arrows can show direct or indirect influence between variables, and mediating variables can be included to show how one factor affects another through an intermediate step. When writing about the conceptual framework in a thesis or dissertation, researchers should include a narrative explanation that describes why each relationship exists based on evidence from literature. Tools like MS Word, PowerPoint, or design software can be used to draw the diagram. In conclusion, a conceptual framework helps organize ideas, ensures consistency between research objectives and analysis, and serves as a guide during data interpretation, making it one of the most critical components of any academic study.